Hey, another video. And I chose these earrings with hearts because the topic of today is love. And not just any kind of love, because you can have love for your family, for your friends, for your pets. But I would like to discuss two types of love: Eros and Agape. And the love that is promoted in this world of Satan's kingdom, of course, is Eros. That's where the word erotica comes from. And that is also the love that is promoted in Disney movies with romance and admiration for the other person and appreciating what value that person can bring to your life. It is also more conditional, transactional, and that is the majority of the relations we see today, as opposed to agape love, which is sacrificial love, the unconditional love. You have the best interest of the other person at heart. It is not transactional. You do it without even having maybe that same reciprocated to you. And in marriage, actually, the husband should love his wife like Christ loved the church in a sacrificial way. And that is not what we see, of course, today. It's more like, oh, we stay married in good times and until we don't feel like it anymore. Actually, I came up with this topic because I found a book that I read when I was young, and it's called Rossi dat krantenkind. And it's about a little girl that saves her little brother from a burning house. And she suffered burns and she got a lot of admiration for people, but for her it was her instinct was to save her little brother. And that sacrificial love is for her, it was normal. But also in the Bible it says like love your neighbor as yourself. And then we just think like, okay, well, if the neighbor does something for me, I do something for the neighbor. But we don't think about, I will do something for the neighbor and I don't expect anything in return. But that is actually the love that God wants. Also, in the way you pray to God shows what kind of a disciple you actually are. Because if you ask God what what he can do for you, instead of what you can do to serve him better, that's a big difference. And God wants you to be a good servant and to love him. And if God says, if you love me, then you keep my commandments. And I think we only focus on the romance and we focus on the beautiful love, but the sacrificial love is of course like the extreme thing that what Jesus did on the cross for us while we were yet sinners. That is the most beautiful love that there is, and we should be reminded of that. That is the most beautiful thing. We should also strive for, to not be so selfish and have only that selfish love. Because I know a story where the woman went to the hospital with stage 4 cancer, and that there are actually these conversations happen, that they tell this woman, get prepared that your husband will leave you, because that's what happens in most cases, that the husband leaves their wives when the wives get really sick. While the opposite, mostly the wives, they stay and they take care of the husband, because the women, they sacrifice themselves. They have this more of the sacrificial love also for their children. And I thought, yes, we should focus more on how did Jesus love the church, and we should follow his example. So, yeah. I hope you learned something about this. And agape love, that's God's love. It's the highest form of love that you can reach. Bye.